All right, party people. We are going to flex the suspension on that thing on an RTI ramp. This is factory wheel, factory tire size, sway bar, factory suspension. We're also going to, just for shits and giggles, it's the same truck. This is a 2019, this is a 2016. Everything's stock on this one as well. We're going to put that one on the RTI ramp too, just to see, I don't know, what wheelbase does to affect it. Then we're going to take the sway bar off. Then we're going to flex it again, see what we get. The front sway bar. I don't think I'm going to take the rear off. And then I'm going to put Raptor suspension on it, front and rear. Well, front. All the upper, lower control arms, axles, tie rod ends, brake lines, Gen 1 shocks. So I'll keep the stock coil bucket on this one. And then I'm going to put an add leaf in the rear, and then Gen 1 shocks in the rear. And we'll see what we get on the RTI ramp. And I also want to test like turning radius. So when I bump these wheels will be bumped out, I think it's 3 inches each side. I got 2-inch spacers for the rear. But anyway, we're going to try test the turning radius, stock, and then after I put the front Raptor suspension on, we'll test it again, and then see if it also is different after I put the rear spacers on. Stay tuned, my friends.
Yes, you do. Device. Swear. You will. So I'm putting that just about in the center of the hub, just a little bit forward because I knew it rolled back a little bit. Hey, that's all we got. So I'll tell you why I'm doing this, why I think this is the way you're supposed to do it. That's 1.5 inch. Okay. Right. Holy fuck. So I'm marking that. This is the regular cab F150. I'm going to do the extended cab later. This is with the sway bar, everything stock. I'm going to measure the difference in the suspension articulation in the front and the rear. If I put the locker on, I could go further, but I want to keep apples to apples. This one actually does have a locker too. The Dodge doesn't yet. It's getting an auto locker. But anyway, most people don't have a locker, and where you start to spin, the rear is kind of as far as you can go. So let's measure. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just do it with you on the thing. All right. Where's my tape? So with a sway bar, I've always said this. With a sway bar, you don't get squat and independent. Independent front suspension. You don't get squat for travel in the front. Doesn't matter what you do to your suspension. If you have a sway bar in the front and independent front suspension that's fighting rear solid axle. So I'm getting 23 to the hub. It might not look centered, but it's, well, So my best, okay, I gotta put my, I don't know if you can see that, but that's what we're gonna do. Okay, 23 5/8 from the hub, 28 1/2 from the shoulder of the tire. See what we get on the other side. Place you right there. Okay. So it works. 22. 22. It's an inch and 5/8 less. 6 1/2 from the shoulder of the tire, which is like bullshit. Hardly any articulation. Okay. I'm excited to see what it's like with softer Raptor suspension and no sway bar. Okay. Rear. We've got 30 from the hub. We've got 14 from the shoulder of the tire. And what do we got over here? What do we got? Okay. Got a little compression. What did I say, 30? We got 17 3/4. 17 1/2. So, what is that, like 12 1/2 inches? Is that what that is? Can't do this math right now. And, I mean, we got, I don't know, maybe an inch from the shoulder of the tire. It's hard to tell because it's so stuffed in there. But, so that's all the space I have with stock tires. So if I go wider, it might rub, but I'm going to put spacers on because I'm doing Raptor suspension. But that would be interesting to see if you rub at full flex with 35-inch tires and stock offset wheels. Anyway. Right, so articulation wise, with a sway bar, all stock suspension, stock tires, we've got 1 5/8 of an inch of articulation of difference in the front tires when it's fully maxed out, fully flexed out. We've got 12 1/2 inches of articulation in the rear when those are totally flexed out. So with a sway bar, it's garbage, worthless. I'm hoping that, I mean, if you're going over a jump, you'll get the full range of travel. But if these tires are opposing each other, the sway bar just limits how much they can oppose each other. So it limits the amount of difference that they can have. So with the sway bar, I've measured so many vehicles like this. I mean, even my Dodge with a solid front axle, it's better for sure because it's 2 solid axles, and so with the sway bar, it's better. But still, I think it was like 5, maybe 4 inches when it's got at least 8 inches of up and down travel. So it probably has, I don't know, like 11 inches of articulation, kind of like just like a rear. But anyway, I've measured Colorado ZR2s, Xterra, Forerunner. Gosh, what else did I measure? Z71 Silverado pickup. He had like the best of the best upper control arms and the best of the best front and rear coilovers, and 3-inch lift, which is awesome. He's able to manage a 3-inch lift with frickin' no differential drop, but and stock length control arms and all that. But he only had like 1 3/4 inches or something difference. All right, this is sway bar off. know I have to go topless for you guys. Oh, wait. Oh, it's pretty fucking close. Oh, no, it's a little bit further. Wow, it's not much, though. Wow, it is not much further. That is very surprising. It is unfortunate. It only got like 2.5 inches more up the ramp. Two and an eighth. All right. We'll measure what that is later. We've got 20 3/4. I feel like it was 21 last time. If it only gained a 1/4 inch, that's pretty shatty. Oh, what am I doing? All right. Well, let's measure the other side. What did I say, 21? Oh, 20 3/4. All right, 20 3/4. What else we got? Let's see. What have we got here? $25 1/4. 20 3/4, 25 1/4. So that's like 4 1/4, I think. Or 4 1/2. Well, we increased it a little bit. I have to do the math, honestly. So I'll present the math after I do my genius calculations. Can't think in film. 29. This might be less, actually. 29, because there's less opposing force on the front. If the front moves more, this might move less. I don't know, though. Let's see. Did I say 29? Jesus, yeah, 29. Oh, yeah, that was 30. That was 30 last time. 18. 11. Let's see, was this 29? I can't remember. Yeah, so we lost articulation here in the rear because the front is more flexible. 29. It's got less pressure. That there's more of the movement is being soaked up from the front. Interesting. We'll calculate how much, but that's I don't know how much of gain that is. I have to do the measuring. Right, so the verdict: sway bar or no sway bar? To go sway or no sway? So with the sway bar in the front, we had 1 5/8 of difference between the two tires. 1 5/8 of articulation. So that's like, what is that? 7/8 of movement on this tire and 7/8 of movement on that tire. Pretty impressive, huh? And then the rear, we had 12 1/2. So that's 6 1/4 up and down on each tire. Without the sway bar. And keep in mind, this truck actually does not have a sway bar in the rear, which I'm really curious what would happen if I had one in the rear. But anyway, so without the sway bar, the front was 4 1/2 inches of articulation. So 2 1/4 up, 2 1/4 down. And the rear, we lost travel in the rear. We got 11 inches in the rear. So we lost 1 1/2 inches in the rear, but we gained 4 1/2 in the front. No, we gained 3 1/8 in the front. We gained 3 3/8. Nope. Fuck. Shit. We only gained 2 7/8 in the front. I mean, we basically gained 3 in the front, but we lost 1 in the rear. So, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you go from basically 1.5 to 4.5. So 1.5 inches of articulation. That's like nothing per tire. So I'll take the 4.5 in the front and lose an inch in the rear. I think that if I put a sway bar on the rear, I would gain more in the front. Just because of the nature of, I think with a solid axle, I think there's more leverage on that axle because it's got longer arms. Whereas the front, there's less leverage, or that opposes leverage more. I'm not sure what it is, but articulating the front is harder than articulating the rear. Also, these are leaf springs. Anyway, I'd rather have a more balanced rig. So if this doesn't move at all, your front follows whatever terrain the front is on, and your rear will articulate a good deal. But if the fronts can move, then the whole truck will stay more equal. It will stay more balanced in between the 2 tires. If this hardly moves, this will move a shit ton. And so if these 2 tires, if you're dipping off the side like that, your truck's going to follow it. But if you have more travel in the front, your truck won't follow as much. It'll stay more level because these tires hopefully will be bouncing out. I'm curious to see if I put the locker on, I'm sure it'll get me farther up the ramp, but I'm curious how much. And because I know just my front was slipping. I don't know. But anyway, independent front suspension, it just you cannot get that much travel out of it when you have a solid axle in the rear, because the solid axle just cannot overpower the front. I've measured stock ZR2, Colorado ZR2, a 2021 Silverado with some badass suspension, like the best upper control arms you can buy, best coilovers you can buy, front and rear. He had a 3-inch lift, which is awesome. He didn't have to do shit to. He didn't drop the diff or anything, and he still got a good deal of down travel. Just on stock length control arms. But yeah, he maybe had the best amount of articulation. He also had the front sway bar removed, but still, it's like it was very limited, just like this one. But we'll see what this is like with the Raptor suspension on there. All right, here we go with the locker. Maxed out the ramp. I think my front is possibly off the ground. I'm not sure. Shit. Well, that is a big difference. Let me mark that. .19 1/2, so we got a little bit more compression. Everything's still on the ground. ground. So we've got the front first. Still on the ground. Yeah, my front wouldn't have come off the ground, actually. That was crazy talk. I believe the rear would come off first. It's lighter, I think. Okay. 25 3/4. Ooh, that is squashed. Way more squashed. Let's see what we get. $16. I want to look at. Well, let's do that. $31, baby. Jeez, all right. You just need to put a little pressure on it. Man, the sway bar is off now. I don't. I guess I could assume whatever additional travel I get without the sway bar, I would get that additional travel with the sway bar when the locker's on. I'm not sure, but anyway, let's measure that, or let's do my genius calculation. I wonder though, could I have gone farther up the ramp? It looks like it. I could have gone a little farther. I think my ramp just sucks. Yeah, I've still got room. Probably not much, but still got movement. Shit. Limitations. I need to put some spikes or something in the front of this ramp. I'll just show you the measurements. Who went where? Okay, wow. Man, can you see that? So there's mark right there. No sway bar. Or excuse me. With sway bar, no sway bar. All the frickin' way up here with the locker on. That is crazy. Well, basically what that says is without a locker, front or rear, but preferably rear, you can't push enough pressure on your suspension to get full articulation. So without a locker, you lose grip before you can put enough pressure on your suspension. Removing the sway bar got me 2 inches further up the ramp. Putting the locker on got me almost a foot. How much did it give me? 11 inches. 10 and a half. Okay. Wow. Dang, I wish I put the locker on when the sway bar was on. Alright, I'm going to mark this and then Bob's your uncle. Hey guys, I promised. Big Mama. Here she is. Ready to go. So this is with the sway bar on, no locker. I will put the locker on though. bit more of an equal skid on front and rear. I wonder what that means. Wow, that is like the exact same measurement as that one. It pretty much is. That's weird. Because there's all this talk about RTI ramps. You need to account for wheelbase of the truck, and they always said that there would be a difference, but I don't see a difference here. Same trucks. That one didn't. That one had a sway bar. This one has a sway bar. They're both just in four-wheel drive. It's the same measurement. It was a 1/16 of an inch off. All right, so I'm going to put the locker on. We'll see how much farther we can get up. And just for the hell of it, 21 and a half. I'm going to measure the other side. (23 and 5/8). 23 and 5/8. 29, well, 29. 29. $17 and a half. A little different, but not much. Okay, locker is on. It seems to crawl better up here when I'm holding the brake, same time as I'm pressing the gas. Ooh! Yeah, that's tipping. Hey, I built this ramp myself, you know? I don't know how much I trust it. Okay, do this guy. All right, it's a lot farther, but it's about half as far as that one. Don't even want to get too close to that. So here it was with no locker on. Here it is with a locker on. So the seven 7 3/4, almost 8 inches further up the ramp with the locker. $21 and a half. Let's see, run around. $24. I'll do this guy. Yeah. 24. Yeah, let's get a good shot. You know? What else do we do it for, you know? Okay, so 24 and 21 and a half, I think it was. 31. You could say 30 3/4. That's off. That's off the ground. Okay, so that's maxed out. Maxed out more than my regular cab. So it's possible that I didn't max out the regular cab, and the regular cab would have gotten more travel. $15 3/4. All right. Well, I guess I'll just show you what it looks like up here. Doo-dee-doo. Oh man, I have a video. I could post it how I built the ramp. It took, wasn't that hard? It took like 5 hours. Not like putting a work truck up on an RTI ramp. Homemade RTI ramp. That's fun, man. That's fun. I took this thing on an off-road trail with a new girlfriend. My God, it was to some hot springs. It was awesome. It's an awesome place. But I did it in an Xterra twice. Stock Xterra 2013 with a Pro 4X, so it had the rear locker. That thing, no problem. Like, it was fine. This thing, oh my God, I just couldn't meander around the trail. So I had to just frickin' just clobber into bushes and just take out like trees and shit. And oh my God, man, I frickin' hit one of my lower control arm mounts and thought I'd busted my radiator because we just went through a creek, and so it was all dripping water. Anyway, fun times. Here's we get with Gen 1 Raptor suspension swapped onto a 2016 F150 regular cab short bed. So the rear, I actually have an inappropriate Adelise spring on here as well. So I'm at 18.5. I have a rear Adelise that should be for the previous generation F150, which is heavier. So the rear is a little stiff as well. The front is stiff as shit. Basically 34. It's 33 7/8. So the rear is stiff. The front is stiff. I think the rear shocks and the springs definitely are too stiff. So I think just the valving and dampening in the shocks is too stiff. We're at 24 3/8. I mean, I don't think I can give much more than that, but so I think let's see what we get. I think we've got 2 inches of articulation in the front and rear. Don't have anything to set this up with. Let's see if that works on my foot. So this isn't super accurate, but we've got 28 3/4. 28 3/4 on the front. Shit.